a soldier, an airman, and a Marine walk into a room. This show is The Punchline. My name is Ryan Smeltz, and you're watching Veteran Talk Show.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing because I was not expecting any help with this whatsoever. And he gave us a place, which before we were just holding it in my place, but it kept shifting. And there's pieces I have to cut out from people walking through the living room and shit. And then,
God, I hate Sam Adams for this reason.
I don't have my bottle opener on me.
I have some downstairs.
Yeah.
Like it's weird.
He just wants to look cool.
Well, you can't with Sam Adams because, like, with Sierra Nevada or something like New Belgium, I can
it's
just
barely on. Yeah,
but Sam Adams, like, they're just trying to keep people out of there.
they're trying to keep the 21 and up out.
Where did I put my beer? Did I leave it downstairs? Nah.
You can probably just get another one.
Yeah, I've got more.
Okay.
Get me.
So yeah, I guess we left off talking about Article 15s.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody really wants to hear mine. Mine aren't that cool.
Never got one.
My second one was coming back.
That was the first time I got herpes. I'm sorry. Too uncouth?
Nah. Was coming back from Guantanamo Bay, and I found out my boyfriend at the time was cheating on me. And
Jody.
yeah.
Typical.
And
Wait, was he in the military or no?
he was, both of them were. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
and yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's a polyamorous relationship.
And so I think it was within my first week back, one of my friends that I was with in Gitmo, like the three of us, there were two of them. We went to go hang out and drink, so obviously alcohol was involved. And I went to go drop him off, one of the guy friends, and then the boyfriend, ex, whatever weird situation it was at the time, was literally in military housing, but it's like apartments kind of, so it's not quite housing, but so it's literally like a block away. And I was talking to him in the car, and he's like, just go say what you gotta say and figure out what's going on kind of deal. And I was like, you know what? That's a great idea. And so
That's a great idea.
Let me show up to this house.
So I took my happy ass down that block, and
He was banging some other broad.
yeah, and she was in there, it so happened. And
Wait, did you walk in on them doing it?
no,
Or-
so it was like a shared thing. So there were two residents. One was his friend, and I knew him too. We worked together. And so he let me in the apartment, and then I went to go knock on his door, and he didn't answer me. And then I was like, oh, I'm just kind of whatever, tired. So I laid on the couch in the common area in the living room, and he texts me. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, bitch, what do you mean? What do I want? I want to talk.
Bitch, what do you mean?
Why are you texting me? I'm at your front fucking door.
Yo, if
Just
you
come
open
here.
the door, you ain't got to text me,
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he's like, I can't. She's here. And I was like,
Hold up. Who's here?
so I am also a very athletic person, and I love to play football with our command, and so I went like a little linebacker, and I created this hole in the door, which was paper thin, it was
Yeah.
military housing. So it was paper thin. I cracked open this little hole, and I just linebackered through it, and I went for this bitch's throat. Because
I would have loved to have been there just eating popcorn. Just like, I'm gonna watch this train
Oh,
wreck
do you
happen.
see this? Holy shit.
Like, it's great.
So
fucking hole
many
in
of
the
my
door.
friends are the same way.
I would have been like, oh, you should have called me. Let me go into the house first,
Then proceed.
then proceed, because I would have loved every minute of that.
So the next week after she graduated anger management,
So obviously I couldn't do anything to him because he's, double my size maybe.
But you could fuck her world up.
Precisely. That's
And you
why
did?
No, I went for her throat, and the roommate like tackled me on the bed, and I was like trying to fish out of it, trying to get out.
I'll fuck you up, you motherfucker! Like just screaming every sentence.
Yeah.
You cunt bag! I'll fuck you in the ass! Like
these are
yeah.
details she was told because she blacked out.
Yeah.
Oh no, I remember every clear moment.
She was just flashing white
It
hot
was
with rage.
as soon as
What? Yeah, that's
as
going to
soon
leave
as-
a mark.
As soon as the word "she's here," it was instant sobriety, crystal clear anger.
Did you cut a bitch?
I wish I would.
She's laughing at that. She's like, I wish.
Funny. It's so funny now. So the cops got called. I got hauled into our command, which is like a 20-minute drive, maybe across, San Diego Bridge and all that nonsense. And I ended up going to the E7 to E9 thing again. And they were all like, well, why do you think you did this? And they started teetering. And mind you, this is like year 4 now.
Yeah.
We're seasoned.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of like, they're leaning in to what I'm portraying as to it being relative to like PTSD and Gitmo, and like they're trying to lay the blame on that. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's do that.
That's a good idea.
So it didn't go anywhere further than that. It just went from, hey, you pay for the door.
See, this is why I just did not get in. So my wife and I met while we were in the Marines.
I like this plan. I wish I had been in the Navy.
Well, so, God damn, Durango, you just ripped some serious ass. She's like laying there. She's like, yes, I did. And it was glorious. And it stinks like hell.
Need to bring some fans in here from now on.
Jesus, we're going to have to turn that one on. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. Sorry. So we met while between Iraq and Afghanistan. And like the thing was, we were like,
She was infantry too?
no, she wasn't in the military.
Oh, okay.
She was my,
That's right. She said that.
she was my cocktail waitress.
Oh,
Yeah.
literally.
And I had a thing, yeah, right. I had a thing where I was like, if a beautiful woman's going to bring me a beer, I'm just going to ask her to marry me.
And here we are.
And here we
And
are.
I never thought someone would be like, yeah, let's do that.
Fuck it, let's do it.
No, so all of our friends are like, you stalked her, and I was like, I didn't stalk her.
The technical.
It's technical. She never said no or leave me alone.
We got a restraining.
And we got a restraining order. So I met her and would be like, I would be with friends at a bar.
Sure.
And it was just right down the street. So like all the friends I grew up with live in this like area that we're in. And so just down the street was this bar. And that's where we would always start a Friday or Saturday night is we'd go there, we'd eat. Yeah, we'd eat and we'd be like, all right, what are we going to do tonight? And she worked at this bar. And so just being there so much, like we'd see her and get to know her. And I'd be like, you should come out with us. Like, you're about to get off work. And she's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm working late
You
tonight.
guys are already drinking.
Like, well, no, it'd be like, oh, I'm working late tonight, or I have a boyfriend. I'm like, oh, bring him too. We'll just have a good time. It's fine. So I was like, I can beat his ass. It's fine.
You don't
I'm
need
not
to
wor-
worry about him.
I don't need to worry about him. So I went away for training up in Virginia for like 2 weeks. And then and this is about a month after we had met.
Mhm.
And so I get back after that 2 weeks. And she comes running across the bar and like jumps up. It's like, I missed you. And I'm like, oh, you're totally going out with me now. And we ended up going out that weekend. And
Hook,
so we
line,
just,
sinker.
yeah, hook, line, and sinker. Like that's how it works. Like just persistence, guys. Persistence.
Persistence is key.
Yeah, persistence is key. There's a line that it's persistence
And crazy.
and crazy soccer.
There's
you
a
just got to
line.
find out where that line
So
is.
it is. For sure.
Yeah, you got to find where that line is. But so she eventually was like, okay. And so we started dating, and it wasn't ever anything serious because she was like, I'm not dating you because you're going to Afghanistan. I'm like, I'm not dating anyone because I'm going to Afghanistan. Like, that was kind of the rule. And then it just kind of happened where I'd be like, well, it came down to me deploying. She came down and actually saw me off. And I was like, well, I'll call you when I can, which wasn't that often. And I would call her, and then I came home and we started like full on dating. And I just was everything after that. But I was like, but everybody I'd met before that, I was like, why would you be in a relationship? Like, I knew God. Like, the weird thing was all of our friends would be like, when we were dating between Iraq and Afghanistan, it's like, oh, you going to marry her? And I'm like, no, I just met her. Like, I'm not marrying her. I don't know anything.
That's that military life.
Yeah.
I'm like
mindset.
Yeah, I had so many boots who'd be like, oh, I married my high school girlfriend. I was like, yeah, you're going to get a Dear John letter. You're going to fuck this shit. And that happened.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm not about that life.
I don't want that fucking letter.
Yeah, I don't want that letter. I don't want to. I've got so much more on my plate I've got to deal with. I don't want to worry about what my girlfriend or wife is doing back home.
Which bar what's it called? It's like where all the housewives go. Oh, yeah.
I had a buddy of mine who hooked up with a girl in Jacksonville. And he was like, dude, she's the best lay I've ever had. He's like, here's the problem.
Military wife.
Yeah. The next morning when he woke up, because he did this on a weekend, he did it on a Saturday. He wakes up Sunday in her bed. Yeah. Lights are on and he can see shit. Yeah. And he's like, oh, you're in the Marine Corps. And she's like, no, my husband is.
Skirt.
And he's like, you're married? And she's like, yeah, he's deployed, so it's okay. And he's like, no, it's not okay.
It's not.
Like, he went out and he went through her laundry and found his nameplate on it. And he texted him, he's like, hey bro.
That's pretty stand-up-ish.
Yeah, because it's like he felt like he was terrible to females. No, like this guy, my buddy was. He was like, you never get married. That's stupid.
Especially when bitches do that.
Yeah, and he's like, this is the reason why. But he called. He found out, somehow found out who he was, and I don't know if it was Facebook but he got a message to him. Was like, hey man, you need to know this. I'm a Marine. You're a Marine.
I didn't know.
Had no clue until after the deed was done. But I banged your wife, and I feel terrible about it because I did not know she was married. Sure. If she would have told me she was married to a Marine, I never would have gone that way. But that happens so much. So much. I had a buddy in Iraq who came home. He was married and had twins, and he goes home to his house the night he gets home from Iraq. Early? No. Oh. On time. Yeah. She had sold the house out from under him because he gave him he gave her power of attorney. So she sold the house out from under him, took the twins, dropped them off at his mom's house in Maryland or wherever the fuck he was from, and then just disappeared. Oh, and just emptied his bank account. Oh, again, power of attorney. Yeah. So he comes home, has no idea about any of this, goes to his house in Jacksonville, is trying to get into his house with the key that he had. Some dude opens the door. He's like, who the fuck are you? And starts trying to fight him. And it's this dude, it's another Marine and his wife and their family living in this house. Sure. And he's like, where's my wife? And he's like, well, I bought this house 3 months ago. Yeah. We've been here for 3 months. Yeah. Found out his wife sold the house out from under him, took all the money, used it for drugs, and abandoned his kids. Died, yeah. God, I hope that woman ended up in a ditch. But he was in Iraq the entire time all of this was going on, had no clue about it. Oh. And I was like, that doesn't ever happen
when you're single.
And that doesn't happen when you're single. But I was like, that's something they write about in movies. It doesn't happen. And I was like, that happens all the fucking time. And it was like, holy shit. I couldn't believe how much had happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not
Like that's
half the people don't even blink about it.
yeah, and they're just kind of like, all right, well, I mean, he was fucked up about it because he was like, so
did
for
a
like 2 or
horrible
3
thing.
days, he didn't know where his kids were.
Yeah.
And that's what freaked him out. And then finally he was able to get a hold of his mom. His mom's like, oh, I've got the kids.
Mm-hmm.
They've been here for
3 months.
3 months. And he was like, oh, well, at least she didn't take the fucking kids. So
Yeah.
fuck her. I'm going to go take care of my kid. And he ended up he did 8. That was his last deployment after 8 years in the Marine Corps. And he's like,
Oh man.
all right, I'm going to go take care of my kids.
That's ridiculous.
Mega cunt.
Oh, yeah. Mega shark cunt.
Jesus.
Megatron of the cunts.
Mhm. I hope that bitch died in the ditch. I really do.
Shooting up.
Shooting up. I hope she got fucking, and this is going to sound terrible, I hope she got raped and gangbanged. And they gave her a fucking fentanyl and she just died in a ditch.
Mhm.
That's fucked up. I mean, you don't do that to somebody.
Especially
But that happened
while they're
all
defensive
yeah.
all the time.
the time.
Yeah.
That I was shocked about the amount. Like, so I went to Afghanistan on the Advon party. So I showed up 2 months prior to the rest of my main body getting there.
Mhm.
And then when it came time to leave, one of my junior Marines was seeing, like, he had checked Facebook once for the first time, and he saw his wife in Vegas in jacuzzis with like slew of other dudes. And then he checked his bank account at the same time. He had $3 after like 5 months
Jesus
in
fuck.
Afghanistan.
Yeah.
He had $3 in his bank
Tax-free
account.
money, yeah.
Like, and he was like, my wife has drained my bank account and she's partying in Vegas with all these dudes.
Mm.
And he was freaked out. And so I was like, dude, I'm supposed to go home in 3 weeks. I want you, you can take my spot.
Yeah.
Going home.
Go home early.
And I was like,
Fuck-
go home,
yeah.
take care of your shit. And I was like, divorce your fucking wife and recoup your money.
Yeah.
Because this was his first deployment. He was fresh out of high school. And I was like, you should never have married that chick.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And so he went home. So what was supposed to be 7-8 month deployment ended up being almost 10.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
yeah,
But you got to keep your money.
I got to keep my money.
10 whole months.
She was not happy about that. I didn't tell her that until I came home.
No,
And
yeah.
she was like, why the fuck would you do that? She was not happy.
Listen,
I was like,
though.
well, she understood, but she was like,
Yeah, upset. No, for sure.
I think it would have been different if he came home and divorced her. The problem is he came home and like when I
Tried
came
to
off
fix
the
it.
bus, he was like, oh yeah, I'm still married. And I'm like, to the same fucking chick? And he's like, yeah, we're trying to work it out. And
Are
I'm like,
you stupid?
I'm like, no, dude, I just
That's
spent
not
another
something you
fucking
work
2
out.
months in Afghanistan so you can come home and deal with this shit. When I told you to come home and deal with this shit, I meant you come home and fucking divorce her ass
Yeah.
and get your money
fix
back.
It.
Yeah, and fix that shit. He ended up getting a divorce with her on the next deployment. Like, I was like, you motherfucker.
She did it again. Or
I think
attempted.
they divorced before he went on his second deployment.
I mean, it happens a lot.
Oh, it happens all the
in
fucking time.
many different forms. I mean, we had a guy, we got back from Iraq and his wife just fucking cleaned him out.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
cleaned him out. And I don't even know if I'm
So
sure there
many
was
Jodies and
cheating
Oh,
involved,
Jodies, yeah.
but
I used to bust people's balls and be like, yeah, Jody's showing up to your house.
Mhm.
And I'd have people be like, shut the fuck up to you. I'm like, no,
It's the fucking truth.
it's the fucking truth. They would
Crazy.
bust my balls about her and be like, Jody's showing up. I'm like, yeah, we're,
Whatever.
casually dating. If Jody's showing up, good for her. I hope she's getting,
I hope she's getting a good deal.
yeah, I hope she's getting it. Like, I hope it's worth it. And the crazy thing was, since we weren't married or any, I really think that, well, I know her, she never would have done that, but she was like so she worked at a bar, and the crazy thing was guys would ask her, so there's this other bartender who was a vet who worked at the bar she worked at.
Oh.
And guys would ask him, be like, hey, what's that
up with
girl's
her?
name? He would go, she has a boyfriend. His boyfriend. That's her name. She
Yeah.
has a boyfriend.
Fuck off.
Yeah, fuck off. Like, so he was kind of looking out for me.
That's good. Yeah.
And I had known so many people in that bar. They were all like, okay, like this is
Thunder.
yeah.
All right, we'll still steer clear.
People were like, guys and girls were like, nah.
Yeah, I'm not fucking with that.
There was what? So she was waiting on a table that had a guy I went to high school with. And he was like, oh, this is my buddy. He was trying to hit on her for his buddy.
Oh, sure.
And they had never met before. And he's like, she was like, well, I have a boyfriend, but he's in Afghanistan. He's like, and my buddy's like, from high school is like, oh, that sounds fake as hell. What's his name? She's like, oh, Joe. And he's like, oh, what's his last name? Schmo? And she goes, no, it's Balak. And he goes, oh, I fucking know that guy. He turned to his buddy. He's like, he's fucking crazy and he'll kill you. Like, you do not want to hit on her.
Don't even breathe in her direction.
Hey, good game, guys.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. He was like, he will fucking murder you.
Excellent practice run. Let's get the fuck out of here.
On to the next one. Which I always thought was funny. I didn't know. I didn't hear about all of this until I came home, but I was like, oh. Yeah. And I saw him at that bar
My
later.
reputation precedes me.
I saw him at that bar later and he's like, dude, welcome home. Thank you for your service.
Trying to kiss ass.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know what you've heard. But once we found out, I put a stop to it. I got your back. And I was like, good.
Better believe it.
I'd fuck you up, bro. There's Frank.
There's Frank.
Frank's like, can I get a microphone, please?
Want to say hi?
My dogs are passed out.
Running up and down the stairs, trying to get your steps in.
So at what point, Michaelyn, did you decide to get out?
So on I got out right after that last my 1.5 deployment. So
1.5.
One and a half.
Well, when I met them in Malaysia, that was like the half. When I went to Japan, and then this full on deploy from San Diego and come back, and I was an E6. And
that pisses me off so much.
I'm sorry.
I can't believe she did that. In
my knees
4.5
are really
months.
scoured. No, I'm kidding.
I was on my knees the entire time, guys. That's how I got it.
She said, I'm sorry, but my knees.
I have lots of rug burns. Well, no, I mean, I knew a guy who, when I had gotten out,
but it was the Navy, so like
no,
Air
still
Force,
Department of the Navy.
Yeah, but infantry's like so packed.
Yeah, it is.
And
we had a high ass cutting score.
Yeah.
Our cutting score was like 1,300. Yeah. Whereas like other MOSs was like 400. Yeah. And you're like, come on.
My life. Yeah.
No, like her high school, my wife's best friend from high school, her little brother joined the Marine Corps and was like, did the loading of the missiles onto helicopters, did the ordnance. Yeah. I don't know what that
is. For us.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And he was a sergeant within like 2 years of his first 4 years.
The aviation world is like a whole nother department.
And I was like, how the fuck did you pick up sergeant? And he was like, technically, I was literally like 2 or 3 months from getting out. He was a sergeant and outranked me, and he had only been in for like 1.5 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not calling you sergeant. You're a fucking pogue.
You can suck my dick.
You can suck my dick.
And
he's a cool guy. I mean, very, very nice guy.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, I was like,
but still, it's irritating.
It's so, I was like, how the fuck does that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
knees, man.
It really sucked a lot of dick, man.
I only disagree with you because you are getting drunk and going to casinos and shit. So
I worked my ass off. I really did.
I'm not doubting that anybody did, but I
took great passion in my job and knew it back and forth.
I worked my ass off, but still, it was like you had to be like getting a promotion. Like you literally, there was no meritorious corporals.
Yeah,
I think I knew one,
which is like by your CO, right? Where
like I think I knew 1 or 2 meritorious lances to corporals. Mm-hmm. The rest were all by just time and service, time and service, and just cutting score.
Yeah,
like literally the day. So if you look at that promotion warrant up there, that's my corporal promotion warrant. That was issued to me the day after I EAS'd. The day I think that says like January.
That's like a slap in the
Oh
fucking
God,
face.
there was like, yeah, here's your. I was like, fuck you. I think that says February 1st, and I EAS in like January 28th or some shit.
That's beautiful. That's military right there.
I was like I never forget it. I can't. I was like, so on my turn. So I took terminal leave in like mid-November, beginning of December, and because I had so much leave, so I just took terminal.
Yeah.
And during that terminal, I had taken unemployment, but got so bored within like 2 weeks, I had a job. And I was working at a bar, and I remember coming home from work one day because I was working the lunch shift. And as I'm driving up to my house, I see this big manila envelope sitting up against my door. And I'm like, oh, what's that? And then I walk walk up to it. It's got the big eagle globe and anchor on it. And I'm like, holy fuck, I'm getting stop lost. The fuck is happening?
Right? They're taking back their paperwork.
Like, I'm like, oh God, I have to go back to work. How am I? Because she and I were living together at that point.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh, how do I explain this to her?
God, she's going to be mad.
She's going to leave me. This is going to be bad. Like, so I like literally sit in my living room like, all right, I have to open this. I have to see what it says. So I open it, and it's my fucking promotion warrant. And I'm like, I literally EAS 48 hours ago.
But
like
technically, you're still in.
Like, yeah, because I was on IRR, and they were like, oh, here's your welcome to being a corporal. And I'm like, fuck you. I flung that thing so far across my house because I was so fucking pissed. And it wasn't that they sent it to me. I was just like,
The timing. No,
I was just like, you motherfuckers. Like, I thought you were trying. And they gave me, like, that's the creed and everything, like, that you're supposed to say when you take.
Yeah,
I'm like,
when you're
no.
sworn in.
Yeah, I'm like, fuck that bullshit. Like, I just threw it. I'm like, oh.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I was so pissed.
That's so beautiful.
I was so pissed. Like, and I tell people, it's like, oh, I got out as an E3, and they're like, oh, really? I was like, well, the day after I got out, I was promoted to corporal.
Yeah.
And they're like, is that a thing? And I'm like, yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
And when I went to my only IRR muster that I had to go to in Colorado, they were like, oh, you can pick up corporal and blah, blah, blah. They're giving us this little class.
Just
No, this is exactly what happened. So first of all, I went to this, and I'm with a bunch of pogue fucking Marines who are in uniform. Like, one of the guys is looking at me, he's like, you've got tattoos. You got pictures of those tattoos in your record books? And I'm like,
suck a dick.
I'm like, no, because when I was in, there were 2 wars going on. They were more concerned about that. He's like, I'm a staff sergeant. And I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm 2 months from getting like EOSing. I don't give a fuck. Like, I was like, you go prosecute me for all you want. And I tell you what, you can climb up my stack all you want.
Salute that, bitch.
I was like, I don't give a shit, bro. Like, I had a beer, and I did not give a fuck.
That's weird. I don't know anything about IRR because I was in for 10 years.
Oh, so, yeah, so you wouldn't have had.
No, they're fucking like stupid.
I hear stories about it, but I didn't know that was a thing.
Like, I saw these like a group of uniformed. I saw a group of uniformed Marines like talking to a guy who had shown up on his motorcycle. And I don't know who this dude is. And he's wearing a vest. Like, he showed up on a motor. He's obviously like me.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's like tatted up. He's got it like, and you could smell just combat vet. And they were all laughing at him and like poking fun at him. And I'm like,
playing a dangerous game here.
I'm like, this motherfucker will kill you. Like, I will help
with
him.
his eyes closed.
Like, I don't give a shit, you pogue mother. This is what you do. You IRR muster motherfuckers. Like, you're 8th and I, and that's all you do. And you're pieces of shit. I hate it. I hated being beautiful. There. I fucking hated it. And I was like, here you are. And this is back to, I think we've talked about this good old boys club.
Yeah.
Like once you get, like if you're not in for so long, like if you do 4 years and
Yeah.
you do it honorably, at least in the Marine Corps, and you get out, you are judged hardcore
Mhm.
as a shitbag for just getting out after 4 years.
Mhm.
Like people are like, you're a turd.
Yeah.
Oh.
You just got in for the school, you know. Why
Like,
didn't you?
and you're like, no.
You don't care about your country.
Yeah, and I was like, it's like, dude, fucking multiple combat deployments in 4 years,
Yeah.
and you've never fired. You fucking touch your weapon only on the rifle range. Go fuck yourself. Fucking pricks.
You know, for sure.
But I was just, I couldn't. This dude was like looking at me, and he's like, "Oh, you've got tattoos? Did you have it?" And I'm like, "No, motherfucker."
You think I give a shit?
You think my command gave a shit because when I was in, there was Iraq and Afghanistan going on? I know you don't have that now. And obviously your
I know you don't have
3
any
ribbons on
fucking
your
clue, yeah.
your 3 ribbons on your chucks tell me that.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself, bro.
No.
Oh, dude, it was awful. But at the IRR muster, we're in class and we're in this like, it was kind of like Seps and Taps almost.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, you can pick up rank in IR and still re-enlist and blah, blah, blah. But you can actually pick up rank. And I screamed out from the back of the room. I was hammered. I was like, I know! They're like, oh, you picked up rank? I was like, yes, the day after I EAS'd. And everyone started laughing. And I'm like, they're like, so do you want to re-enlist? I was like, fuck no! Fuck you, bitch! I was like, I was literally like, I think a month or 2
Left you.
like left on my IRR, and for some odd reason they called me to this muster. And I was like,
Their mistake.
I was like, the fuck are you doing? Like, what are you trying to accomplish at this point?
What is the purpose of it? Just to get you to stay in?
To finish your 8?
I know
Yeah,
what IRR is. IRR is if you enlist in the military, you own 8 years period.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Inactive, ready, reserve.
Yeah.
If you serve 3
I
years.
don't know why they sent me to this muster. Like, I'll never forget. I was living in Denver, working. I was in my senior year of college, working at a distillery, which was awesome.
Best life choice ever.
Like, I actually left my IRR muster to go do an event. Like, because the IRR muster was in Westminster at like 8 a.m. or some shit, or 7 a.m.
Sure.
And literally it is mostly just a checkup. Like, what are you doing?
Are you alive?
Are you
Can
alive?
we? Yeah.
Like, what's going on? I had to go check back into like the VA and make sure all of that shit
Drugs were gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I had to go sit with a medical Navy doc. He's like, oh, you've been diagnosed with this, that, all that. He went through my whole thing, and he's like, any changes? And I'm like, nope, still pretty much fucking sucks.
Same old
same old shit. Then they had like tables where like you could go up and like talk about colleges and shit. And I just walked around and they were like, hey, you should come down. I was just like, literally am graduating in 2 months.
Yeah.
3 months.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Like, I'm getting my bachelor's
I'm here
degree.
because I have to be.
I'm here because you told me. And then I just went and sat in a room until we had death by PowerPoint. Like, for some odd reason, they had this dude talking about
many of them.
They had this dude talking about what would happen if you like got captured, and like the 7 articles. And I'm like, the fuck? Like, he showed a picture of like ISIS guys like standing with behind a dude who was kneeling with a knife out. And you obviously knew this dude's about to get his head cut off in this photo. And he's like, well, at this point you just start snapping necks and shit. And I'm like, why the fuck are you teaching that? Like, who the fuck are you? Like, we are all civilians here at this point. I have a beard. I am 30 pounds overweight. Like, go fuck yourself,
There's no way I'm finding some magical Haji that's
like, I live in Denver, Colorado.
This was the muster?
This was the muster. I could not fathom what the fuck they were trying to tell us. At one point, they brought up the guy who played the EAS song, who was like a YouTuber. Do you remember the EAS song? Anybody? No?
I don't know.
Yo.
I've got to show you. I've told you
I'm
about
friends with that guy on Facebook.
this. Dude, it's fucking.
The Candy Mountain?
No.
Not
No.
Candy Mountain. The DD214 Mountain.
No. No,
Really?
no.
To the DD214 Mountain.
No. The EAS song is much different and way better. I
got to look it up.
I will show it. I need to show it to you. It is awesome.
We'll look it up.
He wrote it while I was. It came out while I was in Iraq. It was my theme song.
then again, I think the one I'm thinking of, the guy might have been Army. So
Yeah, this dude was Marine.
it wouldn't have been an EAS song. It would
he
have been
did.
an
Oh,
ETS
yeah.
song.
Oh,
It was-
is.
It was after the. It's a famous song, so he used that tune and he played it on guitar.
Yeah, it's
But he called it.
On a picnic
Yeah,
table?
It's
he was like the
they played it in
DD214
Pensacola?
Mountain.
it's a famous bluegrass song that was in like
where he recorded.
the
I
EAS
think I know
song
the guy.
where he's like on a picnic
I
table.
might have seen that.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
on a
remember
picnic
it.
table in Iraq and he's like driving down the road in my Humvee, like, and he just goes into the song. It's awesome. That came out when I was in Iraq and I was like, that became my theme song for
Fuck
the Marine
yeah.
Corps.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I was like, I was blasting that all the time. Driving down the road in my Humvee, searching vehicles and Iraqis. Like, it was great. It's a great song. Report and contact, even if we don't get it, just so we can get our combat action ribbon. It's a fucked up arrangement. My PPE prevents proper engagement. Oh, it's great, dude. It is a great song. It is. I
recognize it. I think you showed it to me before.
I
That's
might
gotta be
have. I've talked about it a few times. I think. I don't know when, but
I'm sure of it.
I still listen to that song like every so often. I'm like, oh, this reminds me of my youth.
I was stationed with a guy at Fort Hood that did several songs, like kind of hip hop rap style.
No,
with
this
an
was very much country.
Well, this was, he was just open mic
Sure.
type deal. It was pretty cool.
Spitting
I mean, it was the
shit.
same time you and I
Yeah.
were in Iraq. It was crazy because he was a different unit, and I got stationed at Fort Hood, and he was in my platoon. It was kind of crazy, but it was the type of thing where he wasn't trying to be famous for music or anything like that. But we would go on FTXs and whatnot, and he mentioned it to the wrong motherfucker, and we found it on YouTube and spread that shit like wildfire.
No, he like wrote that, like, so the first time this guy performed, I met something. I can't remember his name.
I swear you showed that to me.
He's sitting on a cot in Iraq with a dip in his mouth, and he's like playing this song, and I'm like, fucking yes.
Everything about it.
Seriously, if you want to know what the Marine Corps is like, listen to that song.
Yeah.
Especially infantry, like, because you're just
Yeah.
kind of like, there is no way this type of shit happens, and you're like, yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It's
no.
this is the most realistic
Just like the
story
wild and
that
wonderful
you will
white.
ever hear
Yeah.
about the Marine Corps. Like, it is 100%.
This shit exists.
Yeah. My favorite line is report and contact, even if we don't get it, just so we can get our combat action ribbon. Like, I'm like, I knew so many people who were like that. And you were like, oh, that's only infantry, like enlisted guys. I'm like, no, that's pretty much officers. That's every enlisted or every infantry officer I've ever
That
can
never
think of.
steps foot.
Yeah. They were like, oh, we're getting contact. No, we're not, sir. What the fuck are you talking about? No, we're getting shot at.
Shut the
I'm going to
fuck
drop a bomb over there. It's like, okay, but there's nothing over there.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up. I love that song.
Classic.
I can tell. I remember it.
I still get a boner over that song.
I don't remember why I remember it, but I swear you must have shown it to me. Or I ran across
I think we talked about it in like our first or second episode.
I don't know.
And then after the episode, I showed it. I think that's when I showed it because you were like, I have to see this. And I
Yeah.
like pulled it up on YouTube. You can go search it. It's literally called the EAS song on YouTube.
The DD214 song or whatever that I'm talking about is pretty
Pretty funny, too.
legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Mine is very Marine
In the
specific.
army, these types of things come from the E4 Mafia.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the underground
we
network.
had the
Yeah.
E3 Mafia. I
Yeah.
mean, the Lance Corporal Underground. Is
Yeah.
what we
Terminal
called it.
Lance and E4 Mafia are equivalent.
Yeah.
hmm
Very
Have
much
you ever
so.
seen
Ours were
Terminal?
too.
Have you ever seen the Terminal Lance comic strip?
A little bit, yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
No, but we had something similar.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
So what is the Navy's?
It's the E4 Mafia.
Okay.
Like everything, the underground.
yeah.
But yeah. E4 and below, all of it. Just anything you want to know.
See, I don't know anything about the Navy's ranks.
So Lance Corporal was an E3. So
Yeah.
you have Private, PFC, Lance Corporal, Corporal, and once you got Corporal, you were an NCO,
Which is the.
which is an E4.
Okay.
Non-commissioned officer.
Which I think
Right.
is in the Navy is a petty officer.
Yes.
It's that first rung on the NCO.
It's second for the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's two
Wrong.
stripes
It's
for-
the one. You're right.
Yeah.
One.
We had one
Chevron.
stripe.
There you go.
So as a Lance Corporal, you have one stripe with cross rifles.
hmm
That's a Lance Corporal. And
For
so
us,
you
it was
had,
the gay bird with the
Yeah.
one chevron.
Yeah.
It's a gay
Hey
bird.
guys,
Hi.
just holding up a stripe here.
It's a
Don't mind
stripe.
me.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'll
The
never-
Army,
We're
the
gonna get
first.
so much hate mail on that.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be the first time.
Won't be the last.
guaranteed.
So in the
So I don't
Army, you have
Twitter or Facebook or anything. They can't find me.
in the
I don't
Army you have
exist.
I don't
corporal.
exist.
Corporal is a lateral promotion from specialist. So corporal is a non-commissioned officer, and I use air quotes because you don't get any extra pay, but you get all the
The
responsibility.
bullshit. Yeah.
It's like,
You get
oh,
extra
we
pay in the Marines.
we need a
Well, the Marines
team leader, so we're gonna make you a corporal.
They're better. funded,
Congratulations.
Well,
But to get-
we're a smaller force, so as a
Yeah.
lower enlisted, you're expected to hold more billets.
Yeah.
So,
So I was a team leader as a Lance Corporal, as a E3. I'd be a team leader.
no.
Like that was not uncommon.
Which is a group of.
3 to 4 guys.
Yeah.
Like, and you would be like, all right. And you would go out on a satellite patrol and you'd be like, all right, I'm in charge of 3 dudes. And my squad leader is
Who knows where?
1,000 yards away from me with another team. And, you know, if shit happens to my team, I've got to be the one that coordinates everything. So
if you enlist in the Marines, how long does it take you to make Lance Corporal?
6 months,
Minimum.
I think.
Mhm.
I picked up Lance when I was in Iraq.
I think it's the same.
And I graduated as a slick sleeve private. So I graduated boot camp as an E1, and then at ITB I got PFC.
With your college?
Yeah.
I graduated boot camp as an E3.
Yeah.
Marines.
I
Huh.
graduated as a slick sleeve.
Bunch of.
I
faggots.
enlisted as a E3 because of college,
Yeah.
Eagle Scout,
I
pre-basic
think
task
it has
force.
something to do with like in order to get like private, you have to have like a 3.5 GPA or something.
No, it's just the hours.
No,
Like, if
you
they're-
had to have like a certain GPA, like a
Marines.
3.5 or a 4.0.
I mean, I had a good GPA, but
I did not.
Marines.
I guess I never
I
assumed.
fucking did a lot of drugs. I
That should help you most of the time.
I had like a 2.5 or a 2.8 or something.
Yeah,
I think but you had to have a certain GPA to pick up private,
sure.
or PFC.
Yeah.
So I graduated boot camp as a slick
E1,
sleeve E1, picked up PFC at SOI or ITV, and then got Lance Corporal a month or two into Iraq. And I was a Lance Corporal for the rest of my time.
Yeah, terminal.
Yeah. There was no, like, I think the highest score I ever had was like
That's what's crazy to me. So you were in
1,100 or something, and it was like 1,400 to pick up corporal.
you were in for how long?
4 years.
Okay.
I was active for 4 years. And I knew guys who would.
So you were Lance Corporal. You made Lance Corporal.
I made Lance.
I was E4.
I made Lance Corporal within a year of dropping to the fleet.
Oh,
No,
So I made E3 within a year,
yeah.
E3.
And just sat for 3 years.
and then sat for the next 3 years at E3.
But made it.
Made it. And there's my promotion warrant. It's sitting right there.
Made it.
Made it. The day it's fucking cool. The day after. Literally, I asked, like, I think on January 28th or 29th or something, and I think that's rated for February 1.
It's the epitome of the military.
Yeah.
Like, literally that
Yeah.
versus your separation
I'm
date.
like, you fucking sons of bitches.
It's
Like you were holding on. And like, yes, I was a shitbag, but really only my company knew that. So how did the rest of the Marine Corps know that? That's what I want to know.
That's because
It's not funny. It's not
That's
that
'cause-
funny. It's
that's because
kind of
when you
depressing.
when you
I
EAS,
think
they
it's the
realize
military.
that you stop being a shitbag
Yeah.
because
They're
you
like, oh,
weren't
you got
there
out.
anymore.
Here's your extra stripe.
That's what's
Yeah.
funny.
You're no longer a shitbag because you're not our problem.
We've been tracking reports of you.
Thank you and goodbye.
We
Have fun,
noticed you
motherfucker.
haven't shown
I
up.
honestly, like, to kind of stick my middle finger to the Marine Corps, the day I opened that, like, literally, I sat there for about 45 minutes. I was like, I could go and re-enlist as a corporal right now,
Yep.
just to fuck them over. Like, just to be like, yep, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Like, I could
Give me
do
my
this.
E4. Let's
Like,
do it.
I'm an E4. Like, I'm a fucking corp. Like, there was a
Okay, so-
45-minute
so
debate
hold
in
on.
my house
I'm
internally while I
I'm
was like,
glad that you didn't do that because, in all fairness, it's a marketing tactic.
it is a marketing tactic. It is.
Congratulations on your promotion.
We'll give you
You're
an
like,
extra
"Oh,
few $100.
fuck,
Yeah.
let's go
Exactly.
back.
Here's,
And what's your back
$50
go like?
bump and pay?
All right, welcome back. You
Yeah.
would have gotten that
Welcome
promotion
back.
anyway. So we're gonna fuck you.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I remember I brought that to my IRR muster and I was like, because they kept calling me Lance Corporal. I'm like, no, I'm not Lance Corporal. Here's my corporal. And they're like, oh, you got to send that down to Louisiana to the IRR.
To get officiated.
Yeah, like, and I'm like, so first of all, the Marine Corps didn't even have the fucking balls to send that
To
shit
get the
down
paperwork straight.
to their reserve station in Louisiana. So I've got to take up the extra side. So like whenever I talk to the VA, they're like, hey, Lance Corporal. I'm like, I'm not a Lance Corporal. I'm a corporal. If you're going to call me by my fucking rank, call me by my fucking rank. I've got the promotion warrant. Here it the fuck is. My EOS certificate, which I have, says corporal. Fucking get it right. And they're like, oh, you've got to send that down. I was like, no, it's not my job.
How
Your
about you
fucking
call
job.
me by my real name?
Yeah. I'm like, you want to be so fucking big into this and like stretch all of this like dog and pony show out. You fucking need to do your fucking job. I'm bitter about it. I'm very bitter.
It's a pinch.
Obviously.
A pinch.
I'm very bitter.
Obviously.
Fuck you.
It's a
Obviously.
It's yeah.
So
Yeah, this is where you find out the Marine Corps isn't about Semper Fi, it's about Semper I.
The Navy stands for Never Again Volunteer.
Yeah,
Yourself.
exactly.
So,
we heard that as judged by one of our Air Force friends
Semper
early
I.
on. No, the never again
yeah.
volunteer yourself.
Never again volunteer yourself. And what everybody knows Marine stands for my ass rides and Navy equipment.
yeah.
I've actually never heard that.
You've
one.
never heard
Yeah.
that? Yeah, that's
US
that's what
US
Marine stands
Army.
for.
U.S.
Department
Army
of the
backwards.
Navy.
Yes, my retarded ass signed up.
Yeah.
Army.
People look at me and it's like,
ready to be
oh, you're a
Marine yet."
department of the Navy. It's like, yeah, I'm the men's department.
He said, "Yeah, the men's department."
Yeah, the men's department.
We'll take care of the real stuff.
Yeah.
So what? So you were in for how long?
8. I did 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
8 years of abuse.
Yeah.
Fuck
Pretty
that
much.
shit.
But so I was saying is that my last deployment is I wasn't part of the Good Boys Club. I had no one around me that used to know me and used to know how hard I worked. And there was a chief running the desk for our flight schedule.
Okay.
And so he's pretty much God, right? For this time being that we work together.
Okay.
And he was a pretty big smartass. Like, he was just a witty, bantery dude, you know? And I thought, and I just kind of played off it, you know? I didn't go in with the
Did you
respect.
sexually harass him?
Not at all. Like, this dude said,
A little bit.
No.
A little bit.
In my mind.
She was like,
In my mind.
A little bit.
She didn't, but
Hey, you can't
verbally.
rape the willing.
yeah.
Amen.
The
So,
Navy and the Marine Corps are very, very linked in,
Oh,
in that mentality.
100%.
Everyone who's not been in is like, oh my God. That
Why
is
would
a
you say that?
horrifying thing to say.
It's the fucking
Why would-
truth.
Yeah, it is. It is the truth. Thank you. At least I have someone here who can.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's sad. It's so sad.
It's so sad, but it's so true.
I'm happy to see so much correlation here.
It's
This explains so much.
Oh, dude.
how fucked up you just become.
So, dude, the Navy used to play jokes. So, when I told you we were getting ready to go on a MEU, and like the Navy docs were telling us, they were like, "Look, this is what's going to happen.
Look.
They're going to get like 20 Navy guys to just stand in a line to convince Marines to stand in a line for no reason."
And they'll do
And
it.
they'll do it. Like, so when you see a bunch of Navy dudes, you're going to know what the schedule for chow is. Just don't think you're lining up for something special. They're
It's a
just
door leading to
literally
nowhere.
fucking with you. So we were getting prepared for that kind of shit. Like, our corpsmen were like, seriously, you don't understand. They will get like 5 dudes to just stand up against a bulkhead, and like an
Nobody
entire
was
company of Marines will stand behind them for no fucking reason.
Oh my God.
No,
It's magical.
Oh my God.
it happens.
It's true.
It happens. It happens all the time, apparently. Like, we were warned about it. They were like, do not
Even
trust.
our own.
Yeah, our corpsmen who are in the Navy, they aren't Marines. We're like, do not stand behind a bunch of Navy people when they're standing in up against a bulkhead,
Unless you verify.
unless you verify what is exactly
Trust.
happening.
But verify.
Wow.
Because you will stand there for 6. Because for Marines on a ship, as an infantry Marine, there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
There is
Work out and
nothing.
eat.
There's
That's
work out and eat. That's it. That is it. Like, you aren't doing any other job
Passive.
while you're on a MEU. Unless there's some kind of training schedule, like you're like shooting off the bow of a ship or
Yeah.
something. Like, that's it. Like, so there's nothing but fuck games that happen. And like, we were told, like, sure, I'll never forget this. J-Hop looked at me and was like, the one advice I can give you, don't stand in a fucking line. I'm like, what the fuck do you mean, Doc? He's like, bro. He's like, bro, let me knock off some high octane premium knowledge for you, okay? He's like, what's going to happen is the Navy guys are going to be pissed that you're taking up space on their ship. So to fuck with you, what they're going to do is they're going to stand they're just going to get 4 or 5 guys or 10 guys or however many guys who are not on duty, and they're just going to stand in a line. And they're just going to stand there. They won't say shit. They'll just stand there for like 3 hours in their off time.
Just
Because there's nothing else for them to
there's
do.
nothing better to
There's
do.
nothing better for them to do. So they're just going to stand there. And what they're going to do is Marines will just slowly start to fuddle in behind them. And they'll just stand there. And then the dudes who originally stood in line will just leave. They will just walk off, and the Marines will shuffle down to where the first guy stood, and they will stand there for hours waiting for something to happen because they don't know any better. And officers will walk by a line of Marines.
You want to verify this?
It's completely. We never had Marines on any of the ships I was on, but I've heard so many times. It's like
I was warned about it.
People
If
will
we
fall
run into
a line.
Marines, we're just gonna
No,
stand
anybody.
in line.
They'll fuck with anybody. They'll just.
I mean, Marines will fuck with anybody too. Like, I get it. Like, you're in my world, I'm gonna fuck with you.
Harder. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I had reporters come to us in Afghanistan. They were like, oh, like, here's a card, because if you're uncomfortable talking to, you can say whatever you want to reporters, but
Show
if you
me
feel
on the
uncomfortable,
doll where they.
yeah, exactly. But here are cards that are some talking points, and it was, and nobody in the infantry in my unit trusted reporters.
Yeah.
Nobody. Trying to figure it out. Let her. Okay, it's rocking.
And things wobbling. I don't know about it.
But nobody trusted reporters, so we didn't want to deal with them.
Sure.
So we had a group of reporters come in from 4 or 5 different
Companies.
yeah, I don't know, publications or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they had given us these note cards to be like, if you get locked up in talking to them, you can just pull this out and say it. So we were just like, all right, they're coming to our world. So whenever they talk to us, we're just going to pull this out and talk to it. Like, hey, how you doing? I'm a Marine fighting for my nation. Like, and you just read the card.
Spew it,
and then you put it back. And then they ask you the next question. You just pull it back out and you just read from it again. And it's not, and it was literally just like, you're in my world now. I'm going to fuck with you. Like, this is like shit rolls downhill, bro. Like,
I have nothing to amuse me.
Yeah.
You have arrived.
This is hilarious for me. I can remember I was standing on post in Afghanistan, and these BBC reporters, they were with, and they were like, "Hey, we're with the BBC," and blah blah blah. And
Big black.
yeah, exactly. And you're just kind of like, at that point, you just kind of knew reporters were liars.
Sure.
Like, that's essentially,
You know, nowadays, like, what was it? Obama passed a law, like, during Christmas, where reporters don't have to rely on facts anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
At all. It's all entertainment.
Yeah, it's all entertainment.
How fucking ridiculous is
Yeah,
that?
what's his face on Fox News?
Hi, Pippa.
Not Hannity, the other one, Tucker Carlson.
Okay, yeah.
He went to court, and the court was like, "Oh, it's entertainment.
Yeah,
it's
no.
not news." And
You
you're
can't
like,
fight yet.
and you're like, "That's not what fucking news
It's not
is.
what it should be.
News should be factual."
What is actually happening?
Yeah, it's so I don't. Yeah,
But
so
yeah, so they showed up. And
they showed up, and I'm like, I remember I was standing on post, and these BBC reporters come out, and there's this kid who's right in front of my post farming his poppy.
Sure. Poppy, like
Poppy opium.
seeds.
Yeah, like opium. Oh, I'll show you pictures of me harvesting opium. Like, it's right there. I was in Southern Helmand. There was poppy all over the place. It's actually a very beautiful country when the poppy comes into bloom.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I've heard it's a beautiful flower.
It's and there's just acreages of it. It's insane. I helped scrape bulbs of the poppy. All the dogs have taken your seat.
Papa,
Millie's like, I don't like this.
get down. Get down. It's okay, Max. If I wag my tail faster, I'll be cute.
Millie, come here.
Come on, Papa. Readjust.
Doggos.
So, but this BBC reporter comes up to my post and was like, "Hey, who's that?" And blah blah blah. And we'd like, what's your name? I literally pulled the card out. I read
Yeah.
the card
Verbatim.
Yeah.
verbatim, and I put it back, and I looked at her, and she's like, "That's great." She's like, "Oh." So who, she tries to like get me
Another
to
question.
engage in a conversation with her, and I'm like, she stopped talking. I just pulled the card back out, and I read it, and she just kind of under her breath was like, "Oh, well, it's Marines, mindless drones," and I was like, "Well, it's better than being a propagandist, I guess." And she just looked at me. I was like, "Yeah, I said it.
I said it.
I said it." I was like, "Yeah, I said it." And she's like, "We're not propagandists." I was like, "Listen, lady, let me explain something to you. This here is an M4. it shoots, and I started going through it and I was like, I can put a bullet in you and drop you off out there.
Oh,
Like,
God.
fucking hated report. So I saw a report done by like the AP on my unit, and I was like,
They skewed everything.
it wasn't even lie. Like, they didn't.
Oh, sure.
They put facts. It's just the facts were taken out of order.
Yeah.
And I was
Contact, everything.
yeah, everything. And I was like, if you weren't there, if you weren't in the situation of what they're talking about, and you're removed from, you would think this is true, and this is not how it is at all.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
common.
I was like, yeah, it's incredibly. It doesn't matter if you're with. It doesn't matter what network you're with.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is insane to me.
Yep.
It's not even necessarily the people on the ground, the reporters that are there. They're just gathering the information.
The editors.
Yeah, but it's like the information once you there. Shoot it, once you take it back, once they slice and dice,
Yeah, the information is there in the report. It's all there.
Yeah.
It's just taken out of like kind of chronological order.
What do we need?
It's like in real life, it's A leads to B leads to C, whereas they're starting off with B, and then they go to A, and then they go over to C, and you're kind of like, that's not how any of this happens. And according to your report, it's a different type of
situation entirely. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, you have just taken it completely out of context.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, there is no such thing as journalistic integrity at all in this country.
There never will be again.
And there never will be, as long as, I'm just
I don't think they have an opportunity for that because
they don't have a requirement.
Well, not just that.
Well, they should though.
They took it away.
But if you if you report on something, you're talking about writing or recording a specific event or set of events, right? Then that has to be fed through the editors, okay? And then that has to be fed through the publishing company. So it's like, if I go out and I record a shit ton of content, but the editor chops it up to look a certain way and the publisher portrays it under a certain narrative.
Completely different story. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, I don't think individuals can be held responsible, especially if they go through high school, they go through college, and they say, I want to be a reporter.
In a system. But the thing is, they're in a system that they're not wanting to change.
No. Because who owns and operates?
Yeah, they're going with who's signing their paychecks.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it's about the money.
It is about the money for them. Like it is. And what I don't understand, so here's the ironic thing for me is that you hear people on these major, and this is all major news networks, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, all of them. When you start bringing up things like the term fake news, they get so riled up about it. They do. Like, have you seen this? They're just
I don't even watch it.
I don't either.
I don't.
I watch clips on YouTube and they're just like, this is like, that is awful. And they just get so, and I'm like, you are the reason that term has traction. Like, that's the ironic thing.
He's clapping, so it's like,
you can't do this.
What do you call it? You called it Ghetto North Raleigh, or what do you say? Yeah.
White trash North Raleigh. It's bad when I start clapping. But no, I mean, that's the ironic thing is that in the news organization, it's like, they're like, oh, there's no fake news and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, the reason that fake news even has traction is because for some odd reason, you don't think people are smart.
Yeah.
And they're seeing that what your business model is. And you're like, there's bias here. You're fake. It is what it is. Like, you're entertainment. You're not news.
So I haven't even. So you have to be here a year before you can qualify for in-state tuition. So for me to finally finish up my bachelor's degree.
I was born and raised here, bitch. Born at Wake Med, son.
I mean, she tried. West Virginia is pretty close, so.
I was born at Wake Med.
God damn it. God damn it.
So I'm interested. I'm very intrigued on how like writing papers is going to go now for college, because they want you to cite sources, but all these sources are so skewed, and like anything you could cite could be left out.
So you need to learn Turabian style of writing.
What the fuck? No,
so it's not MLA. So there's different formats of writing.
I finished.
There's MLA.
Yeah. Nope. I finished my bachelor's degree in 2019.
They don't do that anymore?
They made their own style. I shit you not. I shit you not.
I shit you now. I will shit on your face.
I shit you not.
Those Bud Light limes are just too much for you, sir.
It's probably the IPAs, but
the one you had,
the 1.5. They had their own style
in college. Like they formulated.
It was at the end of my degree, but if you went there now, and I'm not going to name drop.
State?
No.
Okay.
But they had their own fucking style. So it was like, if you wrote a paper, it had, I think sources? What they did is it was like, if you wrote a paper, it had to be either APA or their style, you know? But then eventually they were moving towards exclusively their style.
So when I was in school, there was MLA, ALA, APA, something like that.
Yeah, ABA.
But if you were a history major, you had to learn Turabian.
Oh, I was like, because I've never heard of that.
Turabian is a different style of writing. Because
ABA is like science and MLA is like literature.
Yeah, so Turabian is like you were quoting, you're going and finding. So there's, when you're looking at a history paper, there's a primary source, which is literally someone who witnessed the event in history and writing it down.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Like they're in a journal.
Second person.
No, first person. They are in first person. They're saying,
this is what I witnessed.
I'm at
hair within.
Yeah, like I was at, Gettysburg as a blah, blah, blah. And this is my journal. And he's writing that down or she's writing that down. That's a primary source.
Yeah.
Then you have secondary sources that go in, find that primary source, interview, and then have a secondary source. So there's a whole nother level. And so when you're writing a history paper, the reason you see on history documents, there's like a half page. So you have like 2 paragraphs on the page and then at like half page of like citations. Footnotes. Yeah. Because that's the Turabian style. Is like, okay, I have found this through, and then you link literally how all the sources kind of come together.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I would say if you're, if you approach anything where they're like, oh, you got to do it this way or whatever, just fucking do it.
Yeah. I mean,
if you're just looking for a degree.
Thank God, like military, I feel gives you a pretty fluid way of dealing with things.
Do what you're told.
Yeah, exactly.
Roger Dodger. Move the fuck on.
Get it done. Get the class done and move on.
Yeah. Because I'll tell you what, I mean, my schooling past the military was not as liberal as most people would expect. It was somewhat remote because I had a lot of classes that were like at your own pace, but I had to keep one on campus. And even then, one of my classes, I can't remember, I want to say it was economics or something, but the professor, this motherfucker was 40, looked like he was 90.
Economics will do that to you.
Lived
Economics is
I
so hard.
I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. But he lived.
No, I'm quoting you. It's happening.
He lived
It's on record. You're quoted.
He lives in downtown fucking Chapel Hill in student housing. It's fucking crazy. So you would think
Yeah.
left wing fucking liberal communist.
Sure.
You know? No. This motherfucker's not only got guns, but at one point he held me after class to sit down and talk to me and be like, "Hey, listen, I know that you know how to handle an AR-15.
Yeah.
I want you to show me how to take mine apart."
He has them on campus?
And
Or
I
had?
said, so it's not on campus.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's
So it's-
illegal as fuck.
It's student housing in a fashion where it's like,
Okay. Like,
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
an apartment that's
Yeah.
like, it's all student. I don't know why the fuck he lived there, because where he taught
yeah.
was not in Chapel Hill.
Yeah. Oh.
No, he taught on campus. I had 3 different campuses. 2 of them were in Raleigh,
Mm-hmm.
but he was like, "I want you to show me how to take it apart,
Mm-hmm.
like
Work it. Yeah.
like more, you know,
Yeah.
like I know the basics, but I was like, all right,
The
well, I can
in-depth.
take it apart a little bit past operator level if you're looking for that.
Mm-hmm.
The only stipulation I have is I want to be able to videotape." He was like, all right. So I took my video camera over, I recorded it, I showed him how to do it, but I was like, how the fuck did you get these in here, man?
Mm-hmm.
What's even crazier is the same night he took me to an indoor conditioned storage unit, and his father, I think, no, I don't know, left him a bunch of guns. So he had 2 AR-15s, which I have no fucking idea how he got inside. One, I showed him how to take apart, and then he took me to the storage unit, and he just said it was just a fucking stack of guns,
Yeah.
just a stack. And I was like, "You
Are insane.
do not fit the status
the
quo."
profile.
Well, the
Of
stack
Chapel Hill,
of
yeah,
guns, the stack of guns was not like AR-15, like military style, like.
yeah.
You know, we're taking
like
over
we're
the
gonna
world.
go to yeah.
No, it was like World War I, World
He's a
War
collector.
II style. Ish.
father
It was
passed it
more
on.
like it
Yeah.
was handed down to him, but still, like, if you are currently a professor in a university,
Well, especially Chapel Hill. I work in Chapel Hill. I mean, that is
That's-
a liberal fucking
Yeah,
city.
strong left. Yeah.
Hard left. Like AOC is their god out there. Like Bernie Sanders is the next Messiah in Chapel Hill.
okay, she's laughing. He's not joking.
I'm not.
I know he's
I'm
not.
not.
Okay, this
joking.
isn't.
That's what
This
makes
isn't a joke.
I
This
know.
is like
you can drive
Carborough,
through.
Chapel Hill.
I work in Chapel Hill. I go there every day.
You hit a deer on the highway,
And it's like you have to stop traffic and perform
Pray
a proper.
for it.
Oh yeah, there's got to
Send
be
it on
4
to
different
Allah.
ceremonies.
get a headstone.
Yeah, get a head start. Like at
It's-
like
you
one of
can
my
tr-
best friends is from Carborough. Like grew up, born and raised, and she is super granola, and I love her. She's great. She's
She drive a Subaru.
she does drive a Subaru.
Called it.
She does drive a Subaru. And Nicole, my wife, is now texting me about Bernie and the Messiah. Shut up, you Subaru driver. I'm gonna wait for the response text to come through on my phone. Oh, there it is. Let's see. Oh, I can't read it. I've got to read the first one first. Hold on, let's see what she says, because she's in the other room. She's like,
Shut up, you asshole.
she's like, you're a prick.
You are.
You can drive.
She goes,
You can drive through.
does Bernie have mittens when he's Messiah? And I was like, shut up, you Bernie fan. She goes, hurt.
You
Love you, dear.
you can drive through Chapel Hill and even parts of Durham, and you'd be like,
Bart's the term you can't drive through.
Oh, yeah. You definitely shouldn't.
If you turn left out of my neighborhood and go 3 miles, you're getting shot. Like it's happening. Yeah.
It happens.
It does. She is in there. She so wants to be a part of this.
We should do a special episode
With the wives.
Oh Lord,
Girlfriends.
I don't know about all that.
Significant others.
Toya probably wouldn't care whatsoever. I met her after I was out. She doesn't. The only thing she knows military about me or has been exposed, like one of her uncles, I think, was in for like 20 years. That's the closest she's gotten.
She had the unfortunate pleasure of starting to date me while I was in the Marine Corps. She's a saint.
She's like,
A lovely woman.
She is a lovely woman. She is a saint.
So what about you?
Just recently had a breakup.
Boo.
Yeah. I was married. Actually, so the dude that I went linebacker on.
They don't like the fact that you broke up.
No.
You see that? You mentioned breakup. They're
That
just
was-
like, I'll
that-
fuck
that-
that shit up.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you, Frank. You go.
You go.
You
Good
go,
boy.
Frank.
Good
So what
boy.
about Frank? You have Frank while you were in?
So I had the ex.
Because
who-
that's a protective motherfucker right there.
Oh, he is. He's so
Yeah.
bad. But the dude I went linebacker on, I ended up marrying to try and fix it.
That should have been
Just no judgment.
I
No
know.
judgment.
I know.
judgment free zone.
No
I
judgment
know.
free zone.
I know it was a horrible idea.
Hey, hindsight is 2020.
I mean,
So-
I don't have to have hindsight for that one, but you know, I'm smarter than the average bear.
Apparently, I was not at the time.
Hey,
You are a peach.
love
and I
is
love
blind.
Love is
Love is
blind.
blind.
Love it, yeah. And less.
And
Did you at
Max
least?
might be
Did you
too.
at least cause him physical scars?
No, I'm not that mean of a lady. I like to go for the mental.
Yeah. Well, they never
That
heal.
fuck you up for
They
life.
never heal.
Okay.
Physical wounds heal. Mental
Okay.
scars, mental wounds are there
God.
forever.
So then after that, I met the gentleman who bought me Frank.
Well, you got Frank out of the deal, so that's a good one.
Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
for sure. Hands down.
Frank is a good boy.
And then this last relationship is the third major, but
Third one?
Yeah.
Third big one?
third big one. All, couple years of my life wasted each, if not more.
Well, Durango is obviously not happy about any of them.
Thank you. Thank you, Durango. You are a saint and a scholar.
She is.
What you doing, Matt?
Come here, Durango. She hears the dogs over next door.
Oh,
Durango.
Max is a good boy.
he is. Is it the tail?
Oh, I can't reach you when you walk away. Oh, but I
He
can get you
doesn't
with my
want to get
foot.
too far from you.
It's okay.
Wow. So
I mean,
So you're West Virginia, Ohio, military.
right on the board. Yeah.
You come to North Carolina.
Yeah.
how
Just
did
like
you
that?
find North Carolina?
So it was in pursuant of the mechanical engineering degree was
Yeah.
the primary. And then since I'm originally from, but did not want to freeze to death, so I came more south. And then my mom's a snowbird, so she's literally, between Ohio and Florida twice a year to go up and down for summers and winters.
So so was your last relationship here, or
He moved with me here.
he moved with you here? Ugh,
Yeah,
that
no.
sucks.
I paid for it. That's
That's even worse.
yeah.
Is he
Never-
still
Like
here?
Yeah.
I know.
We're
people.
going down. Yeah, we're going down to
You want me to take care of it? I know people.
He knows people.
That's right. He's from North.
I am from here. I know how to make bodies disappear. We've been doing it for years.
You know that place that I'm moving out of,
Yeah.
my warehouse. It's kind of,
And we can. Oh no, we don't need that. I got other
I'm
places.
just saying, like with that city and
I've got people who own acres of land.
Pig farms
Pig
galore.
farms.
They'll make that
name
shit
it.
disappear.
Hey, you want something to disappear? I'm your man. I'm just you. Hey, look, just wink at me, and it's gonna happen. We'll talk after this. People are like, "Oh my god, is someone getting murdered?"
Maybe. Don't fucking worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Snitches get stitches. That's all you got to worry about.
From the Marine. From the Marine. Of course. We've all been through it. I'm engaged for the third time.
I've been in 2 serious relationships in my life, and one of them you can't qualify as a serious relationship because I was in high school.
Yeah.
That's
no,
fair.
You're
The
right.
second one was my wife. Everything in between that was just like,
Fuck games.
yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Like, my name is
Fuck
Brad,
games.
and I'm just going to bone you, and that's what's happening. Yeah, exactly. Like,
I think I've done pretty well this go round, considering you know, in the military you have the guaranteed paycheck
Mhm.
with the forced fitness program, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
And now I do not have any of that, and she's been willing to stick around for this long.
Keep her. Keep
I
her
was
Yeah.
never, like, I dated a few girls. It was never serious. Banged a lot of chicks. And when I say banged a lot of chicks, I don't want to be like, I'm not like a porn star over here. But like, I was just like, yeah, I am not in the relationship life.
Yeah, that's not me.
That's not who I am. And then I met my wife, and I was like, I guess this is what I'm doing.
Yes,
Like,
I could fuck with this.
I guess I'll give this a shot. And then all of a sudden, I find myself married.
Yeah.
We've been married for
11. Oh, no, wait.
no,
Together.
we've been together for 11 years.
Holy fuck, you're
Yeah.
old.
12. 12.
12.
Corrected.
12. It's not May yet. It's not May yet. She's in there listening. We've been married for 6.
And now she's got 4 dogs on her ass.
Come here, Bailey. Yeah, so we've been together for, it's been almost 12 years.
That's awesome.
And up until her, it was just like,
Yeah. Just blank.
yeah,
Empty living.
like, yeah, like, just like, yeah, I may date you for 3
Yeah.
weeks and
Got nothing else to care about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
It's kind of weird just how you end up accepting all of that in the military. It's a pretty common mindset.
well, so I was so afraid about getting into a relationship. I was like, I'm going to be the asshole that finds the love of my life in the Marines and then goes off to deployment and gets killed.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be my
Oh,
curse.
Yeah.
Like, because I was such a dick bag to women beforehand. You know what I mean? Like,
Fucking dick bag.
it was a bag of dicks.
Bag of dicks.
Eat a bag of dicks.
Like, that was kind of like my thing. I was
No, for sure.
I was a typical
You thought
college student.
Yeah. You thought you deserved that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't deserve. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
I was not like, I wasn't mean. I wasn't like
Right.
I wasn't like a.
A fuck boy.
Yeah, yeah.
Just simply
Women
put,
women were like, oh, he's nice. He'll treat me right. And I was like, I'll let you think that.
for 24 hours.
For 24
maybe.
hours, my theory used to be
24 hours.
my theory used to be I will love a woman till 6 a.m. or death, whichever comes first. And for those hours, it was like, I'm all in. But once 6 a.m. happened, if I'm still alive, it's a complete 180. It's a complete 180.
Ridiculous.
I mean, that's how I rolled because I was like, I'm child divorce. I was like, I don't need to be getting tied down.
Yeah. Shit's hard on kids.
Shit's hard on kids.
No, for sure. My parents divorced too when I was young.
And then even in the Marines, I was like, I don't want to be like, because I would meet guys who'd be like, oh, I married this person who I knew
my high school sweetheart.
Oh yeah, you had your high school, but then you'd have guys who'd be like, oh, I've dated her for a month and we're about to deploy, so I'm going to marry her. And I'm like, you're
fucking idiot.
You're
idiot.
fucking stupid.
Like, you don't need to have genes in the gene pool at all because that's a fucking stupid decision. I also knew guys who did contracts marriages.
Oh, like, yeah, preventing them from doing.
No, they were like literally get married with a girl in the understanding like it was a contract marriage. It wasn't for love. They were getting extra money.
Huh.
They were getting the
ultimate dependa contract.
Yeah, it was the old, like, I'm going to give you X amount of dollars.
Didn't have that in the Navy.
We had nothing but idiots signing up for months.
So we had that, but it wasn't official contract marriages because
they were dispersed.
If you actually signed the contract and went into the marriage and it was discovered, you'd be prosecuted.
That was everybody, but how do you discover that? That is so vague. How do you discover that?
If you sign an actual contract, it's easy because it's public record.
No, but if you...
That's the problem with it is because...
These were passed out.
So me and you, we don't love each other, but we're going to get married because you're military.
For the money. So because we both get dual PH.
Yeah, but like, how do you discover that?
If it's a true,
she can't testify against you, you can't testify against her.
If it's a true contract, it's public record.
So a contract is so by legal definition, it does not have to be written, or filed. It's an agreement between two parties that
can be later used.
Yeah. So if the two of you agreed to that, and I'm the witness, that then becomes a contract,
legal binding.
Other than that, PI.
Yeah, but seriously, do you think the military's like, I'm going to PI all the
military?
How many?
No.
Yeah.
Because that's who's going to prosecute you as the military.
The chain of command. They've put certain things.
Fuck those assholes. It's not like the fucking TV show at all.
No.
They all wear Hawaiian shirts and they're fat and they're motherfuckers. That's
we were in Japan and there was like 5 of our guys in the barracks because we were all in barracks housing unless you were married. And they were all buying out a shit ton of NyQuil and trying to do the purple haze or whatever.
What?
I'm not well versed on many drugs, but
dude, the whole purpose of NCIS is to try and set up people in the Department of the Navy for crimes.
Yeah,
like they are the definition of entrapment. They came in
hard for those 5 guys because they had been tracking and found out they had bought like the max limit of boxes each person, and
you need to watch the Eddie Gallagher. He was on a podcast, Vigilantor or whatever. It was a podcast where they, after all of his shit went out, like when you listen to him talk about NCIS, you're like, if you have experience with NCIS, you're like, yeah, that's legit. I
can see that.
I can see that happening.
I can see that.
You're like, yeah, that's a department of fucktards that doesn't need to be that doesn't need to exist.
Yeah.
It's not like the TV show at all.
So the Army equivalent would be CID. Wasn't that great? It was all right. Depended. I had a ex that worked for DST, which is drug suppression team.
Drug trafficking. I think all of those. So Here's my problem with those departments, NCIS, CID.
Rats, all of them.
Well, it's not just rats. Is that they are specifically looking for crimes, so they're going to manufacture.
Yeah, they're going to manifest.
They're going to manufacture some kind of crime so that they can justify the need for their job. Mm-hmm. It's just
like
how it is.
finding overbought NyQuil.
Yeah, like it's
like they're not even.
What are you doing, bro?
The only reason I disagree with you is because I was on Fort Hood.
I don't know what that means.
It's like the ghetto of the ghetto.
Is that what it is?
Fort Hood is
Fort
the
Bragg.
largest.
That was the one I went to.
Fort Bragg is Vietnam. It's terrible.
That's the one
Fort
I went to.
That's
Fort
terrible.
Hood is the
Training.
largest U.S. Army military installation in the continental United States. And the only reason I bring it up and contest what you said based off of, I guess you would say,
We're going to get into this argument? All right, let me get another beer.
No, I'm just saying, like,
Ready.
Like CID would
Let's go downstairs and
investigate.
get more out of the fridge. I'm running out.
CID would investigate murders.
Well, yeah.
rapes,
So NCIS did the same thing. So, but the thing was, there isn't a lot of that in the military.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. I'm not saying it does not happen.
3/4 of it is not reported, though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Mhm.
I will give you that.
Mhm.
And that's a whole nother conversation.
Absolutely.
But
I agree with that. I agree with that being a whole nother conversation, but
see, NCIS, they manufacture, like, they've got a hit list.
Yeah. It's the same way
For
with
them,
us.
it's like they're going to look at someone who's on a ship differently than someone who's a Marine, differently than someone who's a Navy SEAL or MARSOC.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like they're
Right?
going to ignore the Navy.
They're going to
SEAL.
ignore the poor bastard
Yeah.
who's sitting on a ship versus the MARSOC Navy SEAL person. Because that's the higher target for them to go to. So they're
The
going to
bigger
go
banner to
yeah,
fly.
that's going to be their manufacturer. And they're going to manufacture shit.
Oh, yeah.
And
Twist
they
some
will.
words.
I've been a part of one NCIS investigation. And when I say been a part of, I had 5 minutes of an NCIS and I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm
Yeah.
done.
no.
Where's my lawyer?
Yeah. Like, no, seriously. I looked at it. I was like, I want my JAG lawyer while we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, you're not under arrest. And I was like, I don't care.
Mm-mm. We're done.
We're done. I want my JAG lawyer. I'm allowed to have my JAG, a JAG representative.
Mm-hmm.
And I never heard from him again. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
But there is something inherently wrong. So, like, it's different for MPs or SPs when they're doing a job and they're just going around and
By how they've been notified.
yeah,
kind
like they're whereas
Hey, a crime is happening,
NCIS
yeah.
is they're like, oh, their first go to at a crime scene is I need to have justification for me being here.
Yeah.
So this is automatically
Let's
a
fabricate some
Navy
bullshit,
SEAL
yeah.
or a MARSOC or whatever. They're fucking pieces of shit.
Yeah.
I have not heard anyone in the Department of the Navy who's like, no, we need NCIS. Everyone is like, no, they're pieces of shit and they fabricate so much shit that
I've never
they're
heard a
pointless.
good thing yet.
and these aren't people who are like the subject
Not
of the
even
investigation.
useful. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like,
Like they're just
it's not-
like they are here to waste of space.
Yeah,
It is
a
a
waste-
$1 trillion department that we could do so much more money with.
Yeah. like, I can't even, like, if something were to happen to me, like, I don't have a contact for that.
Mm.
Like, that's not how that goes. That's
No.
not what they're there for.
No.
So,
And when they do get
complete
involved into
waste.
something,
Yeah.
it's like automatically the people they talk to are the bad
yeah,
guys.
every one of
They're
them.
not trying to figure out the crime. Their thinking is everybody here committed the crime.
Fuck you, you're cool.
Yeah, that's literally how they are.
Mm.
Oh, I gotta call him back. My buddy from Denver. Oh. Sorry.
It's cool.
I haven't talked to him in a few months, and he's just probably trying to catch up.
No.
I was like, oh. He's one of my best buds.
IRL guy?
Huh?
Your terminal leave guy?
No. He's a dude I randomly met while we lived in Denver.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He's one of my best friends.
Joe has an interesting story overall. Primarily, I
have lots of interesting stories.
Well, I think my
We
favorite
have to
part,
narrow this down.
I think my favorite part is his
Colorado experience.
kitchen experience. Is definitely because
Like chef kitchen or like
yeah,
Yeah.
this motherfucker can cook.
Oh, I can cook. I can cook like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I can blow you away with some food.
Yeah.
Orgy in the mouth.
Mouth orgy
Mouth orgy.
done, son.
I like to.
What interesting story? Like, I want to know what. I have a lot of interesting stories, so I'm very.
In general, I think
He's cooked
just
for you?
your kitchen experience because I've
Yeah.
worked in restaurants.
Yeah.
I've worked
Yeah.
Right.
I've
I've
worked
got
in
a lot of
quite a
them.
few restaurants, and I have a lot of experience in restaurants. Very little as a cook, much more as a server
Sure.
with all
we
the
prefer
other
the
roles
term
prep. It depends. It depends.
No,
So,
not for me. If I'm cooking in that kitchen, I'm
He's
a
a
fucking
fucking
chef.
sure, but a chef role means that you're doing much more design.
Fabrication
And-
and
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, but that happens before service. During
Whereas
service,
when
I'm in it, man. I'm in there. Sleeves rolled up, fucking taking shit down.
Downtown.
Yeah, but when I say cook, it's
I'm
much
insulted.
more like,
We can't talk anymore.
like
No.
line cook.
Okay.
Well, there's a difference between a line cook.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I've been a line cook. It sucks being a line
Like,
cook.
Like line
It sucks
cook,
being
like,
a chef. Like, I'm not
fucking-
going to lie. Like, if you want to go into the chef world,
hard fucking life.
it's a hard fucking life.
Have you ever worked in a
No.
restaurant?
No.
Be prepared to do a lot of coke and
What
not
was-
get a lot of sleep or have a big personal life.
What was your because you didn't enlist until you were 20, so you said odd jobs.
Yeah, so I worked for my uncle had Down syndrome, so I worked for a disabled school that
Yeah.
he like put he gave him the bullshit jobs where they give him like, I don't know, 60 cents an hour and he put marbles in the sack and they sell them at the Dollar Tree or, you know, shit like that.
Hmm.
That's
And
terrible.
it's money.
Yeah, but just because you have a mental disability, and so this is where my
It's-
mom comes in. She was an advocate for people with mental disabilities.
Like he's like can't support himself, mentally retarded.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's like,
So probably I actually don't know the semantics of it, but my grandmother probably got like some kind of grant for him to,
Hmm.
you know, attend
Right.
here. So then he was just getting like an extra 60 cents on this free free work
right.
venture. Yeah. And on top of that, state funding and all that nonsense.
No, I mean, so,
It kind of in a way is insulting for
Well,
a
it's not
normal
just-
person.
well, it's not insulting. It's,
He was extremely excited about it. I know that.
so my mom worked as an advocate for people with mental disabilities and for the state of North Carolina for a very long time. And one of her big things was how government treated people with mental disabilities.
Sure.
And the idea of just drugging someone up and sending them away.
He wasn't drugged.
Well, no,
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
saying, but like that
Okay,
was
yeah,
her
yeah.
thing. Like,
No, for
so
sure.
like for
Trying
a
to
long
fix it
time
with
yeah,
drugs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like the thing for a long time with government was like,
Oh, for sure.
feed them
Mm-hmm.
something
Mhm.
and just put them
Mellow
in a room.
them the fuck out
Yeah,
and get them away.
just
Yeah.
put them in a corner and we'll forget about it.
Mhm.
So growing up, I had a lot of interaction with people with mental disabilities, and
Well,
her thing was, you know, these are people who can take care of themselves
In a degree.
in a degree. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely, and we should foster that and
Yeah.
and train
Halfway
that,
houses
and
and-
yeah, exactly,
Mhm.
halfway houses,
Yeah.
and
No, 100%.
yeah.
Those capable.
Yeah, those because not everybody is.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of crazy. Like it's you hear about things like I've known plenty of people who have a slew of mental disabilities who can work
All three.
all three. I'm
And
definitely
we're
one.
in the room.
But who can work a slew of
Yeah.
different types of jobs and they should get paid for the job that they're
Right.
doing,
Not the disability
not
they
the
have.
disability that they have.
Yeah. I mean,
Like it shouldn't just be a flat rate.
for sure.
Like people with Down syndrome can work depending on
The severity.
the severity of their condition.
100%.
Can do a million different things. It's just not a monolith.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
It's
know where I was going with that.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
it's a hard fight, and you're obviously intertwined in because I mentioned my uncle and. Also-
all the circles. Hitting
So I did that for about a year and a half, couple years, and just decided it wasn't what I needed, and definitely that area was not what I needed. So I needed to get the fuck out,
No.
and the military just seemed like the easiest, best. The
I feel
quickest.
like that's a lot
most
of people in the military.
It really is.
I feel like so many people are just kind of like,
I need to go. I need out.
I'm in this kind of circle of
Yeah.
whatever life I'm living
Yeah, with no easy way out.
with no
I think
easy way
that's
out.
fair. Like I would never think about that with me, but I was
But I
going
feel
to
like that's
college.
a lot of people though.
I was going to college, and it was a community college, and I was trying to follow my sister in the way that she
Her
had
path.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had, I don't know if she got scholarships. I don't know if she got student loans. I don't know what the fuck.
Well, I was
But
kind of
she
in
ended
the
up
same
in
realm.
Elon University, and I was going to ACC, and we were in the middle. We lived in the middle, so I was splitting rent with her, and she was going to a university, and I was going to a community college, and I would work my ass off
She wasn't doing
for
it.
money, and then pay for my tuition and not have shit. And then her boyfriend come back on convalescent leave. It was kind of lucky he did, because I had flirted
But
with
that-
the idea of the military for the longest fucking time. But when he came back and I went down there and talked to him, I was like, well, shit, like, is
like
this
the
a
way to go.
paid gig?
Well, but that's, I think, so far and few between in the military because I don't think there was maybe one or two guys that I knew of in the Marines that were like me that had gone through substantial amount of college,
Sure.
not like a semester, but like
2-3 years. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. A few years of college who were just kind of like, so for me, there was a slew of things that kind of happened. Ultimately, I was like, I got to a point where I had a bunch of friends we were going into our senior year. And at the end of that year, they knew where they were going to be.
Yeah.
They knew like
Jobs.
my next 6
Yeah.
months, I'm going to intern here.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do
Just the straight late
like,
life
yeah,
plan.
there was that linear
Yeah.
kind of, and for me, I was like,
Mm,
I don't fucking know. Like I was told after high school, this is where I had to be,
this is where I am.
and this is where I am. And now I don't know what the fuck to do because I'm going to be 22 years old or 23 years old, and I don't want to go live with my mom
Yeah.
or my dad
Yeah.
back in Raleigh. Like I just
Yeah.
don't want to do
It's a
that.
failure as a 22-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was like, and there were other contributing
For sure,
factors
yeah.
that I won't get into on the podcast. So I joined the Marines,
Mhm.
but there were so few people who were like that. So many other people who I interacted with in the Marine Corps were like, there were such a wide variety. I mean, I had guys who, I knew gang members who
Yeah.
had joined the Marines who were like, I'm going to learn tactics
Mhm.
to go back to my gang and teach it. And that lasted all of a few months. And then they were like, fuck going back to my gang. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the new life.
This is like, I'm going to do this. I knew people who were like, this is what my mom and my dad and my granddad or whatever, like they came from a long line of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Just the expected.
I served with yeah, exactly. I served with a guy who this was his path into politics.
Hmm.
Like it was really kind of odd. Like I was like,
I could see. I mean, that
like,
used
he
to be
was-
what it was. Like,
yeah, he was like, this is how I'm going to, like, he wanted to
run for office.
run for office and go into, so he wanted to go to college, but he wanted to have the Marine Corps under his belt.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to go to the Marines.
Sure.
So he went to the Marines. He was going to go to college, and then he was going to get a law degree, and then he was going to,
Fucking life plan.
like, yeah, he was very regimented and
Yeah.
like had this plan. I had like, but I had this wide variety of people like
Sure.
that.
No, I think that's the best part. Really.
Yeah. I mean, I had people who were like, I have my GED and I can't do shit
Lucky
with my
to be
life.
here,
So
yeah.
it's this or prison.
Yeah.
And this seems a little bit better than prison. Like I served with a guy who had like a felony weapons charge.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is pretty much it for me. Like, this is what I got.
This is my highlight.
This is as far as I go in life. This is my peak at 19 years old.
Yeah.
So I think you have, especially in the infantry, you have this kind of.
Oh, anywhere, even with aviation.
Is it
yeah.
the same way?
Yeah, it's
No.
a slew of different people, like life journeys to get them there.
Yeah.
Like one of my really good friends that I met after the service in that job in San Diego, and he had some kid. He was in high school. Some kid was throwing rocks at his car, and Greg got upset and pissed and literally chased this dude in his car.
Mm.
And nothing physically happened. Like, he didn't hit him or anything. But the cops got called. Yeah, quote. The cops got quote.
He never hit him. He never
And
hit
since
him.
Greg was 18, he got sent to court for it. So it was either jail or the
Yeah,
military.
or the military.
Yeah.
And they say that
And
doesn't
so-
happen anymore. And
but
I'm like,
it's-
it happens all the fucking
It
time.
has
Oh,
to
yeah.
happen.
I know so many guys who are like even in my generation in 07, 08,
Yeah.
who are like, I was pretty much given a choice in
This
the
or
legal
that.
system.
Uh.
It's this or that.
Mhm.
And it's not kind of an official type thing, but it is.
A solid offer.
It is a solid. It's
Yeah.
like you have, 3 months or 6 months or a year, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
to go join the military. If not, this crime is
Will go.
eligible
Yeah.
to still be prosecuted at that time, and we're going to take. And they say that because I had so many people who were like, "Oh, that's unconstitutional. You can't do that." But I knew so many guys who were like,
Thankful for that.
yeah, they were
No.
like, I was straight up
Yeah.
arrested, bro. Like
Yeah.
I was
was it.
facing 10 years in prison.
Yeah.
Like
As an
and-
18-year-old.
as an 18-year-old, and
Yeah.
I'm not ready to go to prison. It's-
Yeah.
I made and it doesn't happen to, from what I can tell, repeat people.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Like lost causes.
Yeah,
if you
like
will.
it doesn't happen to like the quote unquote lots causes, but like that one guy in 50 that is,
Mhm. That just seemed like he had a bad
yeah,
few life choices that
Yeah.
led up. Yeah.
that seems to be who it happens to, and it happens to all races and
Mhm.
religions. Because I knew a few guys who were in that state who were like, I was given the opportunity to go to jail or go here, and
For
I
sure.
chose here.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, that's illegal. And I'm like,
But look at the fucking difference they made in their lives.
It does make a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
Some for good, some for worse.
Sure. I mean,
I
it's
knew
hit or
people
miss.
who
It's
that-
always hit or miss.
It is hit or miss. I knew people that did not do well in I knew people that did not do well in the Marine Corps that exceeded
Yeah.
life in the civilian world.
Yeah.
I knew guys who did,
Vice versa.
who did exceptionally well in the
Mhm.
Marine Corps, who in the civilian world just could not. That could not adapt. You're gonna keep going back to that.
Oh, and it was their knees in the
Yeah.
military. It doesn't do well in civilian world.
Yeah, my knees are shot. Like I really cannot run anymore. Like I run like half mile, and I'm like
That's it.
my knees just give out.
Do you hike though with the
I try. Yeah, I do. I try to.
Yeah.
But I can't do it every day.
for sure. Yeah.
I can't
Like ACL type thing, or just the
One is
general?
One is meniscus. One is a complete kind of reconstruction type.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you have VA insurance or healthcare?
I have VA benefits.
100 or 70 or plus?
I'm
okay.
I am
free.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I am 68%.
Is it 60 that they cover full for free?
For me, it's anything incurred that I have on my VA.
So it must be 70 and above that they do.
I don't know. For me, it's like anything I have incurred.
Yeah.
Military.
For some,
and I'm 68%.
I thought it was 60.
I'm rated at that.
It might be 70 that they anything that happens. If you were to get a cold tomorrow, they'll cover it.
Yeah, no, I don't have that. But I have I think I'm 60. I am technically disabled, so I could technically go get a handicap sticker if I wanted to. Mm-hmm. Because I think it's like 60% or above. Mm-hmm. If you're rated at 60 or above. I think it's
100 with the state.
Is it 100?
Mm-hmm. We'll talk. I'm gonna.
Because when I got out, it was
she got nice the secrets.
I have.
She got.
You have a nice percentage.
Because of my job after the Navy.
So all my shit came from.
Sure, I applied right out. Yeah. And I got 70.
I got 60. I got to look. I think it was like 68 or something.
And then these guys that I worked with, this 75% up, veteran friendly, talk. Have people, know people, Filipinos, fucking the mafia. So.
Well, I always I kind of felt bad because I served with guys who, like, a good buddy of mine got shot in the leg.
Did you kill anyone? No.
Did I kill anyone?
I'm sorry, I just bring it back.
Only kittens, honey. Only kittens.
Not yet.
A few pussies.
I slaughtered bitches. Slaughtered them. No, so a good buddy of mine got one of my boots got shot and wasn't medically separated, but he couldn't stay in the infantry.
Okay.
So they gave him the option of just leaving.
Changing jobs.
Yeah, changing jobs or getting out. He just took getting out. I had another buddy of mine who was a quad amputee, who was, of course, 100% medically separated.
Gave the option to? No option. I'm kidding.
So when I got my rating, I kind of felt really bad. I was like, I didn't get shot. I didn't get blown up. I know plenty of guys.
You felt bad that you got so high.
I felt bad that I got so high. Yeah. But they gave me a pretty high rating, and I do get a pretty high monthly check, and I'm just like, that's fine with me. Mm-hmm. I'm fine with
it. It goes pretty far here in North Carolina.
It does. Mm-hmm. It does. And a 68% rating is, technically I am disabled.
Yeah.
So when I apply for jobs, I can actually check the application that, yes, I am a disabled veteran, even though
I'm not sure what good it does you.
It gives them tax breaks. It gives the company tax breaks.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay.
Yeah, it gives the company tax breaks. That's what it does.
Because I just choose the non-answerable one.
So if you're a company if you hire X amount of openly disabled veterans, you actually get tax breaks from the government for hiring those. That's why they ask it. Now, you're not required to answer it.
No,
that's why they can get some kind of relief
benefit,
from it. Now, it's not a lot. There's other things that they can do to make. I mean, if you're a true shrewd businessman, you're going to be like,
let's get everything we can.
Let's get everything we fucking can.
Should you, as a veteran.
Yeah, if I've got 6%, if 6% is what gives me my tax break, then let's make sure I get 6% of people who check that box.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Which is so upsetting as a woman. As grateful as I am for getting this last job, because I'm a woman, they needed to fill a quota.
Yeah.
It is beyond frustrating and irritating that they have to hire that certain number.
Well, so with that box on the application, they don't have to hire anyone.
Right. No, but I'm not talking like the veteran thing. But
Yeah.
I'm talking like to prove to Uncle Sam that they are being fair. They are
Oh yeah.
in another way of looking at it being completely sexist and racist and fucking, in a way.
Yeah. I've been in those meetings. It's pretty disgusting.
It's beyond disgusting to think about. Like
I've been in those meetings where it's like this is our breakdown of our workforce.
Yeah. Hey, we
And
need
you're
to
just
hire
kinda
a
like-
couple more women.
Yeah, exactly. And you're just like, why do we need to have this conversation?
Because they want to look good. They have to.
They
It's required.
absolutely have to.
Yeah.
But part of me, so I'm kind of in that foot in each pool type thing, like foot in each bath, if you will.
It's
Well, so I've been on the side where we've hired people that we necessarily shouldn't have hired
Mhm. For a specific
to hit
a check
mark. And I have been in interviews with people that I'm like, absolutely, this person who is a minority in a sense of skin color or sex.
Sure.
And now LGBT,
GT, whatever.
Yeah.
The five. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. I can't
Whatever
remember.
it is
It's
today.
changed so many times.
Whatever it
It's
is
not
today.
that I'm against it. It's just it's changed so much I can't remember.
That German name you tried to name earlier.
No, but I've had those people come in and said, this is the person that fits our company, but since they don't fit the check mark that I need, so I'm torn between the two.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I feel like if you get rid of the
shitbag.
well, if you get rid of the having to force
Oh, I see.
that
The requirement.
you're going to find a much more balanced workforce. And this is my experience. This is for me, this is not,
It's how it should be.
I think so, but I understand why you would need it in certain parts of the country.
Sure.
I do understand why you would need something like that.
But in a way,
certain
then
areas.
it gives the underqualified, the people who don't deserve that job, or the
Exactly.
people that don't qualify, like even in a small spectrum, don't even qualify.
Yeah.
The chance.
I think there are certain cultures and places in this
I
country
agree, that need it.
that need that kind of push.
Mhm.
But I feel like the majority of this country, you don't really need that kind of push.
And instead are hindering business
I
or
think
even
it
the
becomes-
workplace.
Yeah, it becomes a bigger handicap
Mhm.
than it does a help for business from the side of the business.
Mhm.
Because in the few places that I've worked across the country, there are places where I'm like, we would be well and balanced in schemes of culture and skill.
Yeah.
Like we'd have the proper skill, we'd have the proper balance of culture and all that. But since I have to mark these check boxes, I'm sacrificing
Skill. Yeah.
for this other thing.
Mhm.
That's going to make me sound incredibly racist.
It's not though. It's just what they require now, and it's ridiculous in a way.
It is. It really. I keep hitting the microphone. It really, truly is. However, I mean, but there are parts of the country that I've worked at that absolutely are like,
Yeah.
you absolutely need this. Like,
Fuck the whites, we won't hire them.
yeah, exactly. Like there are still very much places in this country
For
that
sure,
are like
yeah.
that. Yeah, and that's disgusting to think about. But I would say 70% at least
Shouldn't require.
shouldn't require it. I would say that's a conservative view, and that's me. And that's sad. It's still not 100%.
The entirety, really, of the U.S. is saddening to me.
Yeah.
The operations. separation. Mm-hmm.
So
Snoring.
yeah. So
Can't hear it.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I told you when she goes falls
Several
up,
of
man.
them. Max over here is giving up. He tapped out. He's
Max taps out every 5 minutes. Look at him. He cannot walk more up and down the stairs more than 2 times.
It's crazy though that his hair is
Okay,
still so
so-
soft. Like,
so first of all, he can hear you. Okay.
I love that dog. That dog does not love me
that's
because I'm a man.
It's crazy though, because he cuddled up to me.
After about 2 when I go sit on the couch downstairs,
Yeah.
eventually he'll waddle,
eventually do
waddle
that.
over there.
Yeah.
but the first, like, whenever, if we're 3 people meeting for the first time, he does exactly what he did, where he just comes and sits on
Vagina?
you. Yeah, vagina. That's where I'm going.
Veg dance.
The veg, I love it.
Love it.
Max is very gay.
Seems just tired. Tired.
These 2 are tired. These 2 are dead to the world. They are sleeping the exact same. It's big and little. Oh, there's the stretch.
Yeah. So I feel like you getting out, I feel like, well, I know me getting out was a lot different than what you experienced, but what was it like, Michaelyn, for you?
Oh, so
Like, you got out, you got a job, of course, then you moved over here, so.
Okay. So I think I was too proudful
Hmm.
to get unemployment. It's just kind of the mindset again.
Yeah.
And
Nope, I got unemployment.
oh, I know.
until
I
got
mean,
a
like,
job.
I
but
wish-
it's like they
I
drew
wish
it
I had
into you
known.
almost.
I would have done that shit.
And the unemployment level is like double high what they'll give you on another job too.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
No, I collected unemployment for about a month.
Right. But then if you were to collect unemployment on, say, your current job, it would be double the payment if it was, a today's scale.
Oh yeah,
Like
So-
the military unemployment that you collect is double almost. Like what?
No, if I got unemployment now based off of what I'm getting paid, I would get paid more in unemployment now than what I got. I'm also making a lot more
Oh yeah.
than what I made on
Yeah.
unemployment.
So paying more. into
Yeah.
He
it.
old as fuck.
I'm old as fuck and I have a very successful job. I have a successful job.
I made it. so
That's going to be the thing now.
I actually jumped on because it was San Diego again, so it was like a lot of no jobs, a lot of fucking people, and jobs then were like houses right now, like it was just shooting off.
I bought my house in the right time.
Yeah.
We'll go into that.
But so I took the first offer I got, which was about 2 or 3 months, which I had plenty of money saved because I went through those classes before, and so I stayed there for almost a year and I hated it. It was like a mid shift. I was dealing with chemicals and like a sciencey fucking job and I hated it. I wasn't meant for it. And ended up at one of my really good friends' house and talked to this guy who was staying with him who said, "Hey, this company is looking for women with, the avionics background." And I was like, "Fucking bet! That's perfect." And I applied and got it in like 3 years, almost 3 years spent there, and just decided I needed to get the fuck out.
So are you still doing avionics or are you trying to break into a new field or
So I didn't realize, I knew this was a big engineering school and area. I did not realize how there were no avionics. Like it's all medical and it's all like
well, so yeah. So
Yeah.
there is some avionics here, but it is
few and far between.
it's a small niche. Oh God.
So I do, because I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy what I did. And
Have you thought about going to like work for a big,
contracting?
Well, not even contracting, but to go, I knew guys who worked on like jet engines.
Yeah.
And that was what they did.
So you need your AMP license generally to do that.
Yeah. And they didn't go so I don't know the whole ins and outs, but they worked on
Probably the engine.
the actual engine.
Mhm.
And then without a college degree, they went and worked for like Lockheed or
Yeah.
Boeing.
And then
or
they can pretty
somebody.
much
And they
easily
would,
acquire that license.
Yeah. And they were making six figures without a college degree.
So me being in avionics does not have readily working knowledge of that license.
So if you didn't have to worry about money or work, what would you do?
I don't really have to right now. With the disability and like really if
my disability is pretty nice. But my job on top of it makes it even nicer.
Oh no, for sure. So I'm not even sure, really. Like engineering is definitely a passion, and avionics.
Millie is dreaming about chasing her squirrels. That is what that was. You were like,
I hope.
my God, a dog is dying.
No, I hope that shows up in the audio.
Millie is
chasing her
squirrels. Look at her.
I think anything in the avionics world, really, and I'd be truly happy.
So do you want to do so there's a lot.
Really, if I could do the job that I was doing,
that'd be
not in California, that would be fucking ideal. But I don't want to be in California anymore.
Who does? Apparently people are...
Not even the people in California right now.
Yeah, they're leaving.
Yeah.
It's like a mass exodus.
As far as... So
like, is that it? Is that... That's like...
It's semi-engineering.
Is it? But it's like software engineering.
No,
almost,
it's like mechanical, electronic, like the blur of both. Mechanical engineering covers the spectrum of mechanic and the electrical kind of. They do a slew of it. So that's the degree I'm pursuing. For free money for
Nice.
a few years.
Yeah.
You live here? Well, I would say, this is what I'd tell you. Buy a house now.
Yeah, I bought one when I got here.
Did you? How long have you been here?
June.
You bought maybe at the right time?
No, it was still peak-ish. I sold in California at the right time, though. I had a condo. Came up 60 plus G's.
So in the past, this is 2021, 2020, house prices in this area raised 20%
It's
on
ridiculous.
average.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
And it's like...
I bought this house at the right time because we just did a valuation on this house. We've lived here for 2 years.
Oh, man. You're probably up 100, if not. Yeah.
And I'm like, let's sell the house.
Where are you going to go? No. No.
I would love to go back to, I'm in Durham County. I would love to go to Wake County.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Wake County's so long.
I love Wake County though.
Do you?
Like it's best schools, best.
Oh, I see. You're
I
looking
don't
at
have
future
kids.
family kind of shit. Yeah.
I'm
looking at-
happening for us.
Yeah.
But
I'm looking at sheriff and fucking waiting lines and ridiculous and
but I grew up in Wake
Taxes.
County.
yeah. Taxes.
Actually, taxes in Wake County have always been way less than Durham County.
No shit.
But last year or 2 years ago, they were like, "Oh, we're going to do like they did a huge increase of like 10%."
In Durham.
No,
Oh,
Wake
Wake,
County
yeah.
to catch up with the rest of the state because they had kept their taxes so low.
Mm-hmm.
And so everyone in Wake County, like my mom, my sisters, like
Fuck this. We're out.
they're like, oh, well, you're on. I'm like, you're on par with Durham County and
Yeah.
Orange County and all these other that surround you because they've been increasing slowly over the past
Just 'cause you
3
had
decades,
Yeah.
and Wake County hasn't.
Yeah.
Messing with your coat, it looks like, or something. I don't know. But I grew up in Wake County.
Yeah.
I like Durham County still is not, I think, where it needs to be.
It's not what you need.
Not what it needs. I don't know why we're doing this all the time now, but
it's
happened
like the
one
ghetto
time.
North.
it's the North Raleigh etiquette.
You started it.
I did start it. It's what it is.
I just keep encouraging it.
She does.
That's kind of how I roll.
Yeah, definitely.
Hi, my name's Michael.
Hi, I'm Michaelyn, and I'm going to make you regret everything you've ever done. Cheers. Hey, buddy.
I'm down for it.
All right.
This is the Veteran Talk Show. If you or someone you love is suffering as a victim of sexual harassment, sexual assault, needs help with addiction and recovery, or mental health and well-being, then please go to veterantalkshow.com/resources. This show is hosted, produced, and edited by Ryan Smelt. Our co-host is Joe Ballack, and a guest starring veterans.